Hi guys, I'm Elder from Magma Networks, and I'm here in a collaboration with Pipl Systems. We're at the World Unified Conference in Miami 2025. We're going to be showing you some interviews that we're going to be doing during the day with some influencers and people that install the Ubiquiti equipment and share their experiences and what's their driving passion about Ubiquiti. I've seen my trainer that gave me my certifications for Ubiquiti around. I'm going to probably grab him to do a little interview and share what's his thoughts about Ubiquiti. We can't talk too much about what we're going to be seeing today. It's private. It's for the roadmap for Ubiquiti. But we'll be sharing the products in the future as soon as they come out. Okay, guys, let's find some nice people around. We're here with Lawrence from Lawrence Systems and at the Ubiquiti conference system in Miami. Lawrence, through all these years, what makes you passionate about Ubiquiti?
You know, it's what Robert said today up on stage, and it was the fact that we get to own the hardware. Mm-hmm. That is a concept that has been lost on many of these other companies. They're doubling down on subscriptions. They want to make sure they let us know we don't own it. The moment you don't pay it, it turns into a brick. This is something that drives us all crazy in tech. I'm a longtime supporter of the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I've got stickers on all my stuff that says you own it, you pwn it. I like things. I don't want the hood of my car locked, and I don't want my access points, just to turn off if I don't pay a subscription bill for them. So that is something that is throughout their ecosystem, I think, is what makes them different. It's crazy that shouldn't be a differentiator. But on top of that, it is a differentiator, but secondary is the fact that they are innovating. They are coming up with new product ideas. We've seen some of the announcements, but just over the years, their concept and how they do things going, hey, what if we took a different approach of doing this in a way that people are asking to see done? So that's kind of why Ubiquiti, the ease of use of their Wi-Fi stuff, and I started with them, like 2013 or 2012, so it's been a long time I've been using them. Yeah. The early ones with the weird logo and the green light that eventually burned out. Yeah, we know which ones. I mean, who knew the LED lights would burn out, but the Wi-Fi still works, so just because of, so just like, I see those once in a while still in restaurants, like the old 2.4s. I'm like, I mean, it ain't broke, don't fix it, so, but the product lifecycle support is interesting on that same topic because you can still get updates for a lot of stuff. Someone's pointing out that some of the Ubiquiti stuff that's still supported is over 7 years old. Yeah. Also, you look at companies, and I'll throw Cisco under the bus on this one. I made a video because Cisco changed just 2 years ago all of their policies. So you can buy Cisco stuff, and within 2 years of buying it, you can find it obsoleted. And that's the Cisco policy change that they made. Used to, from the end of sale date, not end of life or end of support, but end of sale date, you always had a number of years. They've reduced the number of years from end of sale or EOS. So it's kind of interesting to see that, like, other companies trying to shrink it, and Ubiquiti's going, well, why don't we just support things for longer? So it's kind of that's the overall why I like Ubiquiti. It's some innovation, no lock-in, and actually supporting the product for longer than you might expect.
Lawrence, through all these years of your experience, we've seen some companies that have their word on the network side. Do you see Ubiquiti having a stronger performance in like well-known business to have power on their name by talking about networks?
It's a slow change to get into the enterprise network. There's the joke of insert name a big company. Like, I never got fired for choosing IBM. No one ever got fired for choosing VMware. A lot of it's because the goal of the C-suite is to avoid risk. Mm-hmm. Even though it has an expense to use some of these other products, there's a reason VMware was able to squeeze the corporate industry as much as they could, because are there alternatives? Sure. But what's those alternatives cost? Have we used them? I'm scared. I'm going to go pay the ransom that they attach to this. And that same thing goes for networking gear. I've always used insert name of popular product, and I'm going to keep using it because my job here in the C-suite to some extent is to save money, but a bigger thing is how do we avoid risk? It's a risk-changing product. So it's going to be a long time, maybe longer than they want or longer than they realize to step into some of the enterprise markets, but they're getting there because some of these companies, coming back to subscription fees getting higher, they're realizing, and I think I actually want to thank Broadcom for raising the risk factor, because realizing going with one product that can just control the licensing and turn your system off is a risk to your business, a risk that they didn't see. So I think more of these companies are introducing risk that they didn't realize. The C-suites are going, maybe we should look at someone who doesn't phone home or doesn't call out of our network to check for a license check. That's something where I think it's going to take them a long time to get there, but I think UniFi will get there.
What do you think that's going to take time from, since Ubiquiti can launch those enterprise products to be actually deployed by IT teams?
So if you're in the cutting edge market and you need really fast stuff, yeah, you're going to look at all products out there. But the majority of enterprise, 25 gig is fast enough for them. Maybe 100 gig is faster for them. I know someone having a fit hearing me say that, but we know the reality is there's a lot of businesses that can survive on stuff. One of the presentations, I don't know if it has happened yet, so I won't spoil which one it is, but they talked about how many of the switches they had at this enterprise company or large medical facility were 10 plus years old. So life cycles are slow unless there's a reason to life cycle them. So as long as the network is working and packets are moving, even if they're not moving as fast as they could be, companies will hang on to that stuff for a long time. So it's not just the fact that you're, have a product that offers it. It's like, why should I replace it? No one's complaining about this 8-year-old switch in the closet. The fan makes a little noise, but the door's closed and we're not worried about it. So it takes longer that's part of the reason it could take a little bit longer than I expect.
But in regards to the IT team, that will be an easy transaction for them. It's an easy learning process from a brand like Cisco to UniFi.
Well, this is where UniFi doing direct sales, no reseller, allowing for the home market is a extremely smart strategy. So a lot of people realize the enterprise is driven by the home lab. There is so many of us that are people who use this stuff in our home lab who are then decision makers at the enterprise level. So when companies start or people start seeing that they can use this stuff, they go, oh, this works at home. I wonder if I got a bigger version of this and a bigger version of this. And eventually they go, why don't I just put one of these at work? So there's a real path to the open source that is now permeated in the enterprise world is because so much of them use it at home. And we're seeing the same thing with the UniFi. Everyone tells me a story of how they started at their home and started using it, and they're like, well, why don't I see it works at home, and I'm pushing terabytes of data at home. Matter of fact, some home users, because of their video streaming and things like that, well, I would say are more demanding on the switches than some maybe their business use cases, especially when you think about a professional services office with a bunch of people using Excel and Word, and the only thing they're doing is hammering out documents for lawyers or whatever that is. That doesn't require high speed. They can get away for a long time, but eventually those switches will come up due for replacement. And if the IT people have been testing UniFi at home going, well, my home network runs with it, doesn't have a license, I'll just add it to my own controller and manage it from home. So I think that's giving them the inroads. They're laying the foundation of having gear that's accessible, direct sale. Because I've seen a few competitors and met with them because I do some consulting with a company that told me they were going to compete with UniFi. But when I looked at their go-to-market plan, I was like, so you're going to compete with them, but you're going to put yourself behind a reseller. They go, oh, that's for Ubiquiti, doesn't understand the market. We need margin and resellers and no such thing as direct pricing. I'm like, you realize that's why people like it, is because we're IT people, not car salesmen, and I don't like dealing with car salesmen, and I don't like dealing with people who haggle on price and things like that. I just want to say that product is this much, and I'd like to have that product. There's other companies that have done this. And it's always funny how we once again think it's a disruption in the market to go, wait, you're just going to sell me a product for the price on the tag? Yeah. Like, I mean, have you seen Apple? That's what they do. Apple says that it's this much for the device, so we buy the device because there's no haggling. It's this much. You don't go, oh, hold on, let me shop 10 stores. I don't want to shop 10 stores. Just give me a product that works for a price. And Ubiquiti following that and watching competitors stumble around going, oh no, people want to haggle, and I'm like, no, they don't. You're mistaken. I'm a nerd. I want to play with packets, not people.
Hi, Cody. So you're a well-known face for Ubiquiti products, and we're here today at the World Conference for Ubiquiti in Miami. Since all these years that you have been with Ubiquiti, you see a big growth in their market and all the equipment they've been deploying. How do you see it going forward in the future with more equipment and more integrations?
Yeah, so I see it with the, as we saw, we can't say anything NDA, but we saw like they're going to be growing within their enterprise lineup, and as well as integrations between Access and Protect. So for me, that's my biggest integration because that's what we do the most, and it's going to make it easier to do multi-site deployments. So that's where I think they're going, and like the enterprise line, I think is going to end up taking off.
And Cody, what's your main passion about Ubiquiti product?
My main passion about Ubiquiti, well, it's easy. I love installing it, right? And the package design is beautiful. The best thing about Ubiquiti, they always come out with new gear. So it's not stale, right? Like any other companies, they'll release one piece of hardware and then 2 years later, they'll release another switch. With Ubiquiti, they're always trying to innovate and make people excited about network gear, which is a really weird thing to get excited about, but you could see how many people came to this event who actually really enjoy it.
Hi guys, we're here with Bogdan, one of the well-known faces using the Ubiquiti products that we all know. Tell us, how did the Ubiquiti start in your life?
It started in my life when, I guess it was my older brother incorporated in our residence, because it was the best. It was the most Apple-esque. It was the next step, because the Apple devices, networking devices stopped. And so the next something that was close was UniFi, and they started coming out with their products. So it was very Apple-esque, for sure.
So you started with networks, and what was your next step with the Ubiquiti product?
Started with networks, and it was just a logical next step to do protect or camera security, because sometimes even the actual router that some people call the UniFi console can actually run a camera security system, the smaller ones. So we went ahead and, hey, you can easily add a camera. You already have the system. It's all there. You can add just a camera on your front, driveway or something. So it all started residential too.
Do you think that, like with your YouTube channel, you have a big force of showing the people what's the power of Ubiquiti?
Yeah, I mean, that's right now I'm even more and more cutting off other vendors just because I want to be focused on one thing, and the UniFi solutions that they have, it just provides what I need, and then the small businesses that I serve, what they need. And so it's just easier to manage when it's under one dashboard, one roof. And even with this UniFi conference, if I may add, it kind of excites me more that I know that where they're going is going to be a nice, complete, full solution. So I feel really good just sticking with UniFi right now.
So from previous conferences that you probably have been before, what's your resume? How could you distinguish this one?
You know, it's kind of like the CEO Robert said, that it's really about scaling. And I'm not there at the enterprise level. I don't do those kind of deployments. But it's good to know that the company behind them working with, they can serve, a whole stadium, no problem. They kind of showed off a lot of that, how they're more integrating, scaling up their hardware, software, to be capable to kind of upkeep with kind of the, I guess, other kind of big guns around. They've been handling that space, no problem. So that's exciting.
What's your opinion about the license fee? Not having license,
right?
Yeah, what license fee? We just assisted a case study about saving a lot of money for a clinic. What's your opinion about that?
Yeah, so just working with, it's either residences that a lot of people just don't have the budget for this kind of stuff, or small businesses where licensing is like a big fraction for them anyways. They're already paying like Microsoft, whatever. And so to them, it's actually very significant to pay for something or not. So that's why some of these small businesses, they would just go with like a residential router or things like that, because there's no licensing there. But now they can have a much more robust solution with the UniFi products, because there's still no licensing there. So they maybe, sometimes the solution costs a bit more upfront, but then there's no licensing. You don't worry about it. It's just one-time cost,
So we could say, like, you as an integrator, you just gain a big boost of confidence for the future from today's conference.
Yeah, it's like I got the UniFi Blue injected into my veins or something. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It's really like, okay, up for next year. It's like ready. Okay, very very excited to keep going and seeing how I can integrate the new things that we saw for future clients and future customers.
If you could choose one product from Ubiquiti that will be your favorite, which one would it be?
Give me like 2 minutes. Hold on. Favorite product
or feature?
Yeah. Okay. Well, favorite feature for sure is like the unified dashboard, and it's almost looking like they're combining more applications. Sort of from the things I've seen, that more and more applications are actually combining in their unified dashboard. But in terms of just the best product, maybe because it's most recent stuff I'm doing, but unified door access control, just because how simple the system is. Because I just recently like replaced like a Honeywell with the UniFi access, and it's just shocking how much, you know, all the little wiring disappears. You have a little PoE connector. So I'm actually excited for those products and the retrofit kit that they have for door access, because now you can, even if you have existing deployments with some other brand, you just save so much time on not having to rewire things, and you can just get the benefits of UniFi, kind of the brains behind it, but keep your existing infrastructure for door access. It's just kind of easy. So that's what I like right now.
Robert from the Hookup. Robert, how did you get in touch with Ubiquiti?
I've been using UniFi for a while because I think the most important part of any smart home network or smart home in general is a strong backbone, and the network is the backbone of any smart home. And one of the things that brought me to UniFi in the first place was the fact that it's all local control, right? Nothing has to go to the cloud. You don't need subscriptions. You own the stuff that you buy. And then not only that, but it allows you to have a really granular control of all of your devices. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you're using a security camera with maybe questionable origins, right? If you on your own network have it properly configured and locked down, you can be sure that your data is staying inside of your house, and that your privacy is going to be respected. And UniFi is just a really good way to do that.
Robert, do you think like with your videos from your YouTube channel, people are getting more concerned and more aware about having their footage locally secured instead of being on the cloud where they don't know where that is?
You know, I think that that's maybe not a concern that a lot of people have, but maybe more people should have than do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as you said, as people are made more aware of some of the issues that have come up, you know, issues that could not only be related to bad actors, but also just within companies. You know, Ring had a breach where they just had employees spying on customer data, and in that case, like, you know, there's no way around it. There was no better option for securing that network. It's just a matter of fact that there were people doing things within a company that they shouldn't have been doing. And so anytime you are utilizing the cloud, anytime you're letting that data leave your house, it's out of your hands at that point. And so for a lot of people, that's not okay. And again, UniFi just allows for a way to be certain that your data is secure on your property and that you are staying, that your privacy stays your own.
It's yours, right?
Yeah, right.
It's your footage, it should stay with you.
Exactly, yeah.
What about the license fees? What do you think about the Ubiquiti not having license fees compared with other companies that do have it?
I mean, like, the license fees that I would generally deal with are mostly like cloud storage things with your consumer companies, like Nest maybe, where you can only get so much functionality out of your cameras unless you pay for Nest Secure or something like that. Whereas when you have UniFi, once you have it, once you've bought that stuff, that's the last time you have to pay for it. And I think that is something that resonates with a lot of people. Especially since you have all these streaming services now that are out offering, that are all monthly fees. $9.99 a month subscription doesn't seem like a lot, but 30 or 40 of them, it definitely is.
Robert, so we've been here all day at the World Conference, and like I seen you seen too, there's a lot of people here with a smile. We all share the same passion about Ubiquiti and their products. What would you describe as your favorite features from UniFi?
Well, we can't talk about a lot of it,
yeah.
But I think that the increased integration into sort of the smart home space that we're going to see over the next year is really something that a lot of people are going to be excited about, and I know that I'm particularly excited about.
Jesse, we're here at the conference, and as you've seen this morning, everybody that came out of the presentation has a smile in their face. What do you think makes Ubiquiti make smiles in their face and put the passion in people about using their product?
I would say that Ubiquiti has come a really long way in the last several years in unifying, pun intended, their interface across all their products and giving the ability to manage everything that they do from a single pane of glass. And I know personally that has been one of the key factors that drew me into Ubiquiti in the beginning, because it's just so simple to grab new devices, get them adopted, get them set up, and then manage them from pretty much anywhere in the world as long as you've got internet.
Yeah, so you have your own YouTube channel, which you do some reviews of Ubiquiti product. What challenges do you encounter doing those videos, or if you encounter any of them?
Oh, certainly. And they send me these products. It's not always so far in advance. Sometimes we get them a couple of days before, but it's because they're Ubiquiti. Usually it's plug and play, and then you can kind of figure it out along the way. I'd say the real challenge is trying to, when I'm writing my scripts, come up with all the questions that I'm going to get asked in the comments about, what about this? What about that? How do you do this? How do you do that? Does it incorporate this? Does it have that feature? And so I try and cover all of those, and then sure enough, there's always 100 comments that are like, oh, what about this feature? It's like, ah, damn, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah, so we see sometimes the corporations they like to hide their secrets about how they do their business and knowledge. Do you think that sharing your knowledge between installers and other people will make everybody more united and more unified and bring their product to a different level?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of the rising tide lifts all ships kind of philosophy. It's a very big world, it's a very big market, and Ubiquiti is still just getting, especially in the enterprise space, getting a reputation of reliability and ease of use and access and whatnot. And I think that if we're all working together and all helping each other, there's plenty to go around. And so sharing information is going to actually accelerate what we're able to do, because then we're all going to be working off a similar foundation and continue building from there.
Do you see like the license fees, the free license fee from Ubiquiti is one of the main sales points from their products?
Absolutely. One of my first videos that I did about Ubiquiti was the fact that I had a Meraki deployment that was coming up for renewal. And for the cost of the renewal, I was not only able to get all new hardware, I was able to double the size of the deployment for basically the same price of just the renewal of the software. And so I think that's going to start drawing a lot more people in. The other side of it is that it's local. A lot more people are looking at this and saying, I want to own my equipment, I want to manage it, and I don't want to have to, have it die and go dead if the company either stops running the updates or offering that particular feature. Google Nest, early Nest users right now are pissed because the thermostat, the Nest 2 thermostat, just died. It doesn't work anymore. Like, sure, you can touch the dials, but you don't have app access anymore, and that hurts. You paid for this product, you should be able to use it until it dies. Yeah.
Hey, Matthew.
Hey.
So, a question for you. Do you see like Ubiquiti has, let's say, brought more people to the network industry than previous brands? Like 10 years ago, if we look at it, was it more IT engineers and just IT management talking about networks, or do you see more people like home use? Is Ubiquiti bringing that knowledge down to like unified to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, where we kind of got started too, like 10 years ago, is we were doing a lot more of the smaller residential stuff like that. And that used to be, I think, a lot of the people that were doing it. And recently with a lot of the enterprise upgrades and, some of the announcements that they're making here at UWC, we're seeing some pretty crazy stuff being released. And a lot of our clients recently that we've had have been a lot more enterprise grade. They're moving into larger platforms. So I think the community is going to always be a mix of both, right? They'll always have those two kind of user bases, but I think the enterprise side has grown a lot since we've been doing it. So I think it's growing huge.
Okay. Matthew, question: do you think, like since COVID, like a lot of people start working from their homes?
Yeah.
Did that raise like security levels, security questions about them working from home? Was that a huge jump on the market for the network at home use?
Yeah. No. That's a great kind of rivet in the timeline too, where we saw a lot of people. We had so much mobility into play where people were really working from anywhere, right? And we kind of showed, vendor agnostic, right? Everyone was kind of trying to work from home, work from, coffee shop, the beach, wherever they were.
that forced everyone to evolve in such a way that, that's kind of at the forefront. It's not everyone has to go to the office now, right? We're so diversified in that. So I think COVID was, it sucked, but it kind of forced us to evolve into such a, as if we weren't already a mobilely enabled kind of, society. It's 10x to now, and it's still climbing. So, yeah.
But do you think, as a client, for the clients that raised questions to have their networks more secured, to implement network security and different type of routing, just instead of your normal modem?
And with COVID and with the security, and stuff like that, recently on our channel, we've been talking too about like taking privacy into your own hands, right? Like I'm talking with people that I didn't even, my neighbors, they're concerned about it now, right? Like it's such a, everyone is into it now, right? They want to, how can they keep their data secure? How can they keep it private? How can they not have all these cloud companies and subscriptions and all the data and stuff like that? So, people I didn't even know that knew anything about technology are now into it, right? And trying to figure out how they can better secure themselves. So I think that's, and especially because COVID too, that was a huge thing for that. So yeah, it's way beyond just the techs and the nerds now. It's everyone. They all want security and privacy. So 100%.
Great, Matthew. So during this morning, we had a bunch of presentations.
Yeah.
What are you looking for the afternoon?
Oh man, well we got a lot of good stuff. It looks like on the agenda. I think again, we do a lot more enterprise stuff, so that kind of stuff really piques my interest. There's a lot of stuff with the industrial kind of area that I'm personally interested in, that I do a lot of work with, like PLCs, automation, industrial controls. So that lineup to me, some of the industrial announcements are really looking forward to. And then just the sheer scale that they're going to, right? Like how are they planning to accomplish, Site Manager has already gotten some great improvements, but now they're talking about, how do we 10x that, right? How do we make it all one unified system, from anything from access to the network to just the whole thing. So I'm interested to see how that vision is going to really play out. Yeah. I hope it works great. But there's a lot of great content lined up. So
yeah, it looks promising since the morning.
What are you most interested in? Like, what have you found?
I found that there's a huge interest in the technician side and the installers.
Okay.
They're putting a lot of thought to what needs to be taken care of in the market, not only as a client, but the how to get to the client. And I think there's a lot of processing going through there, and it looks promising for the future. But last question for you.
Yeah.
What makes you passionate about Ubiquiti?
Oh man, well, Ubiquiti's taken us to a lot of great places that we would have never really been before. A lot of our client installs and stuff like that for Ubiquiti are in some pretty interesting places that you may not normally see networking equipment, that they just kind of have to put it in. So, that's what makes me excited is, they're very progressive in that way of making changes and not being like the norm or just staying with the usual, right? So that's enabled us to actually go to some really cool places and see some really interesting networks. So I'm excited for it all, man. I'm happy. This is great. And I think I think we're just at the start, right? Like with how Robert was speaking on the vision of some of these products, I think it's so much bigger than a lot of us even understand, because we're all in our own little slivers, but he's really great at bringing all that holistically. So I'm very excited to see where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully their execution is better than past, right? But I think it's going to be great. I'm excited.
We have here David Grillo from Wifi-U. David has been one of my mentors in the courses that he does for Wifi-U in Canada for Ubiquiti in partnership with TDL Gentech. David, how important do you think is having the training certifications about Ubiquiti products?
Hey, Magma, nice meeting you. And well, it is like part of the important thing to grow into UniFi, into Ubiquiti products, is getting the trainings and certifications. We call always that this is like a kickstart for you to grow in your business, to improve your businesses, to find opportunities, look for opportunities, for new opportunities on Ubiquiti. So, Ubiquiti always launches new products. Ubiquiti is always on the market with new stuff and offering like a huge variety of solutions. But if you don't have the grounds, if you don't have the basic knowledge that is going to help you to start, it's gonna make it more difficult. And the world is more competitive now. The technology world keeps growing on and on. So yeah, getting the certifications is a very important step. Right.
Okay, well, I know because I already took the courses, but what courses for Ubiquiti does Wifi-U have?
So we have mainly two courses. That's what we offer the most. One is the Ubiquiti Wireless Admin, which covers all the Wi-Fi products of Ubiquiti, all the Wi-Fi stuff. What we love about that training is that it not only shows, like any other trainings you take on other vendors, that only talks about the access points and their products and the product models. And when you take those kind of courses, it feels like it's like a product training only. Ubiquiti courses, we also talk about the Ubiquiti products, obviously, but we also offer grounds on how to design, plan, implement, deploy UniFi Wi-Fi networks in general. With UniFi, but pretty much can apply to everything else, right? What we want is you to go to UniFi, but if you are already working with other vendors, you can still apply that knowledge into the Wi-Fi products. So the other training is that we're getting a lot of success is the UniFi routing and switching admin. That is all the grounds on routing, switching. It also teaches the important, like it makes a review of all the important knowledge you need to know about routing and switching, TCP/IP model and OSI model in general, and also how to take advantage of all the routing and switching features that Ubiquiti offers right now, right? Which you can see, and if you saw on the conference today, they've grown a lot into routing and switching. Right?
Okay, David. Through your years of experience, you've been through some of the Ubiquiti conference. What do you think about this conference this year, the 2025?
I think it was a nice step into. Like they're trying to take it in like higher, like stronger steps into the enterprise, which I think that was interesting. They are showing like more capacity, more power, and like a very strong compromise into getting into the enterprise world with these new things that they're launching, the new weight of management they talked about today. I was still feeling a little bit of lack of more products. I was expecting more. Something more newer products on the Protect line and maybe under the Wi-Fi line. That was, I can say, a little bit of disappointment, right? So we were expecting more newer access points. What I believe is that Ubiquiti has gotten into a maturity level on their access points at least, so they don't feel the need to launch even more because they get into the enterprise E7s and that's the top line. And they just want to like build up behind those access points, behind those products. I think the stepping into 5G is something that is like a natural step now they had to do. Yeah. They were getting a lot behind with the 4G LTE. Now getting into 5G, I think it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, I think I had a good sensation from this training, from this conference. I've been training so much that the word training is on my head all the time. But I got a good feeling. And I think for people that is on the enterprise world and is getting into the enterprise, trying to compete in a high-end enterprise, this is something very important for them. But not everybody is into the enterprise, or people that is not too much into that level. Maybe they were expending a little bit more, but I think it's still. I think liked it a lot, and this was a great experience. Yeah.
We're here with Monty from InsideWire. He just flown from the UK. We're a special guest for the Ubiquiti Worldwide Conference. How was your flight today over here?
It was good. It was a long flight. It was 10 hours long, but we got here. We made it here, so it's been a really good day so far. So enjoying it, definitely.
Good. Monty, through the day, Was the conference exceeding your expectations for the products and releases?
So definitely there's a lot more to come. It's going to be exciting. They're really making those strides in the enterprise space. They made this step last time in London, but then they've taken a step further and there's more good products coming. So looking forward to it, definitely.
So in your YouTube channel, do you think that you have a huge responsibility educating people when it comes to networks and how to install or set up systems the proper way? Do you think like your type of business is a huge importance in the field today's days?
Definitely. I mean, putting the wrong information out there can lead to businesses getting impacted. So it's just making sure the right material is there and we're focusing on the right area and making sure the tutorials are correct in the correct standards. So yeah, definitely there would be.
What made you get in touch with Ubiquiti?
I think I've always been a consumer guy who loves products, loves tech, and I think the draw was initially like they're very Apple-esque, like they're a very Apple-based company. And I think my passion for IT and computers kind of drew me towards them. And I think this was probably 7 years ago, 5-7 years ago. And since then, it's just grown and grown.
So do you mind us letting us know which was your first Ubiquiti product?
My first Ubiquiti product was probably the Cloud Key Gen 1. I think that was that, and the USG Gateway. That was the first one.
How do you see Ubiquiti in the roadmap with a UniFi product going to the future?
They're growing. They know they still have gaps in the certain areas, and I think they're pushing in the right way of getting the areas that they need to cover. And I think 2025 has been a big year for them. They've done a lot in terms of expanding, and I think 2026 is going to be the same. They're going to keep going in those areas.
Great. Do you think that not having license fee is one of the biggest achievements of Ubiquiti and the family of networks and all the ecosystem around it?
100%, definitely. Because purely down to the fact that you hear other businesses say the licensing costs more than the hardware. And the fact that you're buying the hardware, which is probably still cheaper than their competitors, and there's no license fees, makes it a win-win for most businesses.
I want to share you a little story with you guys. So me and Oleg, we were talking about the video that we were seeing before coming to the World Conference of Ubiquiti. And we were seeing these gentlemen's installation, about 96 cameras, and was Indiana, and how beautiful installation they were doing. No clue that we were going to see them here. Look, we're around here. They were seeing our channel, our videos. We were seeing their channel and their videos, and we just met, and it was a magnificent experience meeting these gentlemen and their good work. Anton, what do you think about today's experience at the UniFi conference?
Oh, like a lot of new stuff. Actually, it's pretty impressive what the Ubiquiti doing. I think they, closed like all the gaps in like security, for the protect. A lot of amazing integrations. The whole experience was actually great. A lot of new products. So.
And also, what is interesting, we always like speaking with Anton and discuss something we wish to have from Ubiquiti side, and a lot of them were released today.
Yeah,
we can't like openly talk about it yet, but we are very satisfied and impressed.
Yeah, we can share our smiles and our faces, and everybody will notice that for sure.
No one ships like that fast like Ubiquiti does.
And that much.
And especially keynote from CEO was so inspiring to see the clear vision to actually disrupt like industry, the whole security, physical security, networking, everything. I'm impressed. I'm excited, and future seems bright.
So during the day, I've been interviewing some people. I'm curious about to know what was their first Ubiquiti device that they got hands on.
Of course, access point. For me, it was access point. Ubiquiti, I believe it's UC.
Yeah.
So if we could talk a little bit about your project that you did recently, what was the most enjoyable aspect about doing a big project like that?
The most enjoyable, it was satisfaction. We actually, after we finished deploying, like installing Ubiquiti gear, the onboarding was like seamless. It took like the whole day, but with other systems you can spend, I don't know, days, right? So the onboard people to use access control, they're like through the identity was like fast, seamless, and to see like when customers happy, nothing makes installers more happy, right?
Yeah.
Also,
Right? During the training, they was like impressed when we showed them like extra features. For example, like one of them, I don't know if they gonna use it or not. They have a lot of forklifts in the facility with a small like numbers looks like license plates. So, and they can track all the movement of their forklifts around the facility, and they told us it's like super
Using
cool.
the re-ID from the
I
AI
didn't
key.
know that it like could be possible, and they were like, "Wow, that's extra features!" Like
What do you guys say it's drives your passion about the Ubiquiti product?
Like I said, the vision first. Like CEO mentioned, so their like goal is basically to disrupt the industry. So it's like a fork road. So all other companies, they're doing one thing, and they all similar, copying each other. Ubiquiti has a unique vision to like how they build products, how they present them. Also like feature-wise, no licensing fee. That's like what excites me the most,
And the whole time we work with Ubiquiti equipment, we can sense where everything like heading, and it's aligned with our vision like very, very close. That's what make me happy.
All right, guys, it was a pleasure to meet you guys. Thank you.
It was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you probably next year in another conference.
Sure.
And I have Nathaniel here. We just went through the beginning of the presentation in the morning. Nathaniel, what do you think about this presentation?
Oh, there's a lot of stuff to be excited about, for sure, that's coming down the pipeline. Not much that we can talk about, but on the hardware and the software side as well.
Yeah.
I think from a management perspective, organizationally between MSPs and the sites they manage, the one product name or a software that we can't use or mention right now, it's going to be great as far as linking the MSP and the organizational structure that's there to the client sites that we manage. I think scale was the word that they used as far as the main topic for today, and they definitely delivered with it.
Yeah. Do you think that Ubiquiti is having more of a big understanding of their technicians that they have in the field? They're looking what they need, and did you see that this morning that there's a lot of thought in the developing tools for that?
Yeah, especially with the new interface, it seems like they've definitely gotten, they dug deep with talking to integrators and seeing what specifically they need from the organizational perspective of the software site manager. So it sounds like people were vocal about it. I know people are always vocal about the good and the bad that Ubiquiti offers, but they listened to all the good and well wrapped it up with this new service.
Yeah. So even as an integrators, we can see like everybody came out of the room with a smile on their face. There's a lot of good things happening that we can't talk about yet.
Absolutely.
But pretty soon you guys will see what's coming down the pipeline.
The applause were definitely warranted. We'll say that for sure.
Based on your history of using Ubiquiti products, what makes you passionate about the Ubiquiti products and the day-to-day use as equipment for your clients?
A big thing that comes to mind is data privacy and ownership. The license-free model and everything being self-hosted on the controller. That's a big thing, especially for our residential customers. There's no single source of truth in the cloud where your data is stored. You own it, and it's and per marketing and kind of describing it to customers, we can tell them, your NVR storage is right in this box.
Yeah.
Your network configuration lives on this box. It doesn't have to go to the cloud to receive anything. It doesn't rely on it in any way, and you can run it fully offline if you want to. So that's a big thing for us. Surveillance with some of our business clients, they appreciate, on-site storage of everything. We have cloud backups in some cases, but the ownership is a big thing.
Yeah. Do you think transferring the storage from the cloud to locally is one of the main requests from your clients?
For a couple, yes. We have customers using another surveillance product that was stored in the cloud for a number of years, actually. And we migrated. It was a clean cut. They started on the new NVR system and kind of wrote from that. We're still doing cloud backups for it, but as far as accessibility to the data that's there, it's right on site in the NVR system.
Mm-hmm.
So drive failures and stuff like that, they happen, albeit they're pretty rare. But when they do happen, we're there quickly, and it's easy to identify and swap out drives as needed.
Great. And what about the license fee freeze? So, like Ubiquiti doesn't have license fees for their equipment, do you think that's a huge sales point for?
Absolutely. And I kind of got introduced to the networking space and kind of started my journey with Ubiquiti and not having to consider license fees, and now knowing what the license fees costs as we're getting bigger and larger, organizations that are clients of ours is a very important thing. I could see thousands of dollars being spent on some of our client infrastructures that we just don't have to worry about. And that's great. And the software and I think the advancements are outpacing other companies, which I think is funny in a way, that they don't have to collect licensing fees, and the software keeps being iterated on and becoming better with every new version that comes out.
Yeah, exactly. Like every company wants to reduce their expenses and save some money.
Absolutely. And they don't need it as a revenue stream. I mean, there's a small premium that's quite obvious for Ubiquiti products, but it's well worth the value.
Okay, guys, so we got to the end of our trip to the UniFi World Conference 2025 in Miami. I can tell you that it was an amazing experience. My first time in a conference for Ubiquiti. It's a must. You have to come for sure to have the feel about the passion that drives around this brand. We were here today with Pipl Systems and Magma Networks. Follow our channel. We'll post more content coming into the future, like new products and reviews. And stay in touch.